My name is Nate Rich with Foulk Consulting. We've got a demo here that we put together for a customer a few weeks ago that we think is a very powerful example of how the Micro Focus OpsBridge suite can be used as a single pane of glass for both native Micro Focus tools and third-party tools as well. So we wanted to share that with you guys really quickly and kind of let you have the benefit of seeing what we've been putting work into. So to get started, I'll kind of introduce the environment that we're doing and the demo that we're going to do, as well as the tools that are all put together for this demonstration. So first we'll focus in on the application under monitoring, or the thing we're watching. So we've made this fictitious system called Nipper Watch that's got a variety of components. You can see some servers, we have some client app stuff, some server app stuff, and some network components. And then for that, we have, you can see some things that we've got come in from SolarWinds. We have some stuff from the Micro Focus's NA tool. Events are in here that kind of greens and warnings and nothing major. Tools that we've brought in to make this go together actually is going to be obviously the OpsBridge. We've got NNMI that's doing some monitoring of the network gear that was part of that system. We have NA extending that, so things like we're watching the changes, the configuration, etc., of those same devices are there. We have operations orchestration, also invoking things that are going to operate this demo and make things happen for us, as well as doing the function of the backsync from our incident management in Servicenow back to OBM. So we've got that doing the functions there. We're actually leveraging a third-party software called Streamweaver. That platform is all about integrating disparate tools, so tools that are not native with integrations in them. It brings the data across. That's your incidents or your event data, your metric data, and your topology data. It does that very quickly and easily. So we're leveraging those guys to integrate in our SolarWinds here. So we have SolarWinds NPM is the module we're focusing on today. It's also watching the same network components that NNMI is watching. And we're going to talk about some of how that plays together and why that matters here in just a moment. And then lastly, I mentioned we have Servicenow is acting as our ticketing system, our incident management role today. So back to OBM, kind of the hub of everything, the glue for everything is a single pane of glass. I mentioned that we have two different systems, both a Micro Focus and a non-Micro Focus tool, watching the network components here. And we're going to focus a lot on the network components in this demo. One of the things I'll mention is first we're going to invoke the problem. So right now everything's green and happy, and we're going to invoke that problem through a runbook that OO does. So I'm just going to kick that off, and we'll come back later to doing a different function with this. But right now I'm just going to do a downwind interface on that device. So I'm going to let that run in the background. So it's going to go down the interface on the int1 sat1 device, and then the monitors that I have in place for this system, they're going to start triggering here at different times and start putting in events. And we're going to let that go while I explain a couple of things here. Kick that out of the way so we can see. We talked about what we have available from NNMI and SolarWinds NPM. It's going to overlap, right? We're going to have metrics on the same, same types of metrics, same types of events, same types of things. We don't have to pick one or the other with Micro Focus OpsBridge, right? We can bring them together and let SolarWinds people have their data in there along with NNMI people and be able to coexist in this one system, and we can take advantage of them both, right? So ways that we can do that, like with this PE1 device here that's in our system, we can focus on it, leveraging our integrations and the powers of OpsBridge. We can actually do something like a right click, and we can launch a tool which is going to show like the layer 3 neighbors of PE1 for this environment. So it's actually going to cross-launch into NNMI, open up in context, and give us this drill down look of the L3 neighbors right here from OpsBridge. So very powerful, leveraging those integrations that are there. In addition to that, that's a native, Micro Focus integration. If we want to leverage information from a non-native, so leveraging that Streamweaver UI's integration to these SolarWinds NPM, we can actually do a show performance dashboard of that same CI, this PE1 CI. And we're going to pull up, this is going to be an OpsBridge performance dashboard, but the values that we're seeing here, the percent down, the average response time, and the average load, these are actually coming from SolarWinds NPM. So you're actually able to interact with SolarWinds data, NMI data, OpsBridge data, all this stuff at the same time, all on one platform, and you didn't have to leave the screen. So you can use those drill down, drill up capabilities anywhere you want to help you troubleshoot, understand the environment so that you can work on it, okay? So with that aside, the demonstration as it moves forward, you see some things starting to happen. We have a couple of critical alerts here, and we have a major alert here. And from an operator standpoint, right, when they're working in this event browser, if you would, they're going to start looking, obviously, at the criticals first. That's their training is going to be, hey, I need to pay attention to the criticals. So they would start chasing down and figuring out what's going on with app one and WAN connectivity and all these different things that are red. Some of the things they may do, they may look for context, they may start researching, like I said, the performance that we just did on the example of PE1. Great. Those are all cool types of things we do. But one of the roles that they're going to have is they're going to have to make sure that they're ticketing the event so that we have documentation of the occurrence. In this case, if they would start with making tickets from the criticals, they would be making more work than they need to. But because we have OpsBridge in play and we're using all the knowledge we have with the topology and the event data, we actually can see that we have some topology-based event correlation established for these alerts. And I'm going to kind of scroll down so you can see behind my head there. You can see the different symbols here that these criticals are coming in as symptoms. And that major alarm, that orange alarm that's popped in here is actually coming in as the cause. So rather than opening up tickets for every one of these alerts, this operator is able to look at this at the cause level and decide, hey, this is what the problem really is. It's this gig Ethernet 01. It has a problem here, and I need to focus in on it. So it bypasses the severity. It knows what the cause is, and we're able to focus on it, and we're going to make a ticket for it. So to do that, pretty simply here, because of our integration that we have available, we're going to do a transfer control to Servicenow, and that's going to kick that off. So that doesn't have to be a manual process. That's something that, the causation rule that when we say, hey, this is the cause, we could have automated the creation of the ticket and not to have any human involved in this part. But for the sake of the demo, to give me time to talk, I wanted to make sure that was something that we manually did. So we ended up making a ticket, and you can see here we got back a response from Servicenow. That includes our ticket number. And we see that we also have other things coming in, right? We have other alerts coming in from these other network devices saying that their BGP peer is down, right? So it's just continually adding in more alerts, more monitoring, and you notice that they're all coming in with that symptom, right? So we still know that this is the cause of our problems, okay? A couple things we want to do here is we want to make sure that we have this ticket open because that's part of our job as an operator. We're going to go into the event details of the one that we created, right? And under this forwarding tab, we actually see the reference to the Servicenow instance and that ID. That's a link. We can actually click that link. And again, in context, we're going to drill up into the ticketing system and pull up, once we log in here, pull up that actual incident that we opened up here, right? So that means we didn't have to type anything in. It's ready to go. We've provided all the information available to us from OpsBridge because we can go under this external source details tab. We can see all the IDs, where it came from, all of those things, and literally all of the detail that OMI had available or OBM has available put into here, right? So that's all in there. Human didn't have to do that. If I were to just by happenstance be the guy that comes in, maybe the team lead or manager, and I came into Servicenow, I actually can open the ticket that I've seen pop in as a new ticket, and I can go open up the event in OpsBridge right here. This link will drill back into OpsBridge the other direction. So if you happen to be somebody that's not working the issue from an operator's perspective, we also provide that linkage, right, back to the system of record, the manager of managers for this case, right? So we're going to close this out because the ticket's made and we're happy with that, and we are playing the role of the operator who has to fix this thing. So typically, if I'm a tier 1 operator, I don't have root access or admin access to every device in the network. In this case, I know I need to be working on this network device here, this int1 sat1, and I'm worried about this single interface, right? So in this scenario, maybe the network tier 3 team, maybe they provided us a set of work instructions or workflows in an automation tool, operations orchestration, that would allow us to interact with interfaces and do some of these simple tasks that would give us the power of a tier 3, but without the unrestricted access with the commands at admin level, right? So it gives us a little bit more security in what we give our operators, make them more useful. They can do more things, but with less risk to the environment for having a less experienced person doing those functions. So to invoke that, what we're actually going to do is we're going to pick on this int1 sat1 guy that we're focused on here. We're going to go do that runbook thing again. So invoke runbook. It brings up what runbooks I'm allowed to be as the operator. I'm allowed to have. And you'll notice I have a restart WAN interface. So I'm going to pick that one. I'm going to run that function. We're going to let the OO window, this is an operations orchestration drill down window, okay? Now, it's going to run this function. You can see now the step, it's a single step, not a big complex one, but it's a single step of restart WAN interface, and it is succeeded. It's done, right? So we're good there. So we're going to come back, and at this point, we've taken an action related to this interface, and what we're going to wait to see is that those alerts, those monitors that showed us, hey, we're red, we're orange, we're yellow, all these things, we're going to see if they start to clear up. And what's going to happen in the background as I'm talking is going to be the colors are going to change. It's going to happen hopefully in the next minute or so and pretty quickly. Things are going to start changing color and going back to green, and these alerts are going to disappear because the up alerts are going to clear the down alerts, right? So as that goes on, you're leveraging the knowledge of the topology that you got from multiple sources. Again, this is not just from one place. This isn't just built out in OpsBridge. We actually imported, this information, this relationship set from NMI, and we got metrics coming in from SolarWinds. All of these things allow us in OpsBridge to be more powerful. And then that's kind of the key of this demonstration is when we're talking with customers and we're doing things for folks, we want to be talking about solutions, the whole kit and caboodle, not just what one tool does, not just what one feature is. We want to talk about how you can bring all of these things to bear and all of that power to bear so that we can make a solution for a customer that works, right? So that's really what we're focused on here. So catching my breath, I'll try to wrap this up pretty quickly. You can see everything went back to green. Everything is healed now. The monitors are recognizing that we've restarted that interface. The network devices are back in their original state. The client app is no longer suffering from this network component being problematic and cutting off access. So we went back to a good spot. So yeah, we fixed the problem. As an operator, we did really well, and we would almost be done, except we have to close our ticket, right? We have to document that. So what we're going to do is slide into the closed browser here for the last hour. We're going to pick the cause events only because we know that's who we made that on. We're going to go back and use that drill down function to get back into our Servicenow instance, right? So we're going to pull this back up in context because this guy needs to be updated by us. We just fixed it. So we're going to do an update of the state to resolved. We're going to give it a caller because that's required. And then we're going to come down to the resolution information and fill out those necessary pieces. We solved this permanently. The notes is we did stuff and things, right? That's going to be our note set. So we're going to update that. Servicenow, when it gets this information, is actually reaching back through OO. It's reaching back to OBM to update the event with this information. And if it was not already closed, if this would have been the first notification of or a thing to do to act on the event for closure or its state, it would do that function as well. But since we had the monitors that did the up alert, clear the down alert, that function's already been done. But we can come into this alert and this event, right? We can go into the annotations and we see that this was resolved by system administrator and with code solved permanently and the note of we did stuff and things. So there you have it. We closed the ticket. We have fixed the problem and everything is back right with the world in our system. So that's the demonstration that we had put together for these guys. We thought you guys would find some use out of it and be able to figure out that, leverage the fact that solution-based demonstrations and designs are the way to go here. And hopefully that was worth your time. Thank you very much. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out with us at Foulk Consulting. You have a great day.